Some students are doing very well at school, but they're not necessarily being stretched to think with real depth and independence. In my more than 15 years of teaching secondary age students, I've come across very many young people who were really intellectually curious. Often they weren't even the ones who were doing the best in the classroom. But as soon as I brought ideas that they thought were worth considering into the lessons, like Plato's cave or Freudian psychoanalysis or Darwin's theory of evolution, they would come to life. I was teaching them literature and they came into the room expecting to study a set text. And of course we did study the set texts. But it was when I brought those bigger areas in, politics, philosophy, psychology, history, those were the moments when many students began to see literature as not just something they had to write an essay about, but as a way into the big questions that humans have been asking for millennia. The difficulty, though, of course, is that school doesn't really have time for that kind of intellectual exploration. You've got the curriculum, you've got exams, you've got set texts, you've got a timetable. And that's what the teachers have to teach. That is not a criticism of teachers. That is just how the system is set up. But the result is that you are left with students who are curious and hungry for more. They've got deeper questions, but they don't have a sustained and a structured space to take those questions to and to explore them. And that matters now more than ever. We're living in a world of short form video, of instant opinions and of ever increasing AI. In fact, AI can make very confident sounding answers and can even write a student's essays for them. So the question is no longer, can a student produce a good essay or something sounding intelligent? Of course they can. The new question is, can a student judge what they're reading, what they're watching, what they're listening to? Can they judge an answer? Can they question it? Can they test it against evidence? Can they notice what's been left out? Can they take a view and defend it clearly? That is why I created Vista Minds. Vista Minds is a sustained, structured academic mentoring program for intellectually curious 13 to 18-year-olds who want to go beyond the curriculum. And it's for parents who want their children to develop judgment, intellectual confidence, and independence of thought. Students bring their own interests and questions, and at Vista Minds, we teach them the skills they will need to explore those interests with depth and with rigour. So one student might want to explore political power, another feminism, another the rise of a particular populist leader, another might want to look into Greek myths, someone else the future of AI. There are as many interests as there are young people. But at Vista, we're going to give them the skills and the mentoring, the guidance and the motivation to explore those topics with rigour. We're going to teach them how to read more carefully, how to evaluate claims against evidence. We're going to teach them how to construct arguments, how to ask great questions, and how to defend a position. What's important is that these skills, which they can then transfer to other topics that they're interested in further down the line, are taught to them via the topics that motivate them, that really move them. And that's going to make their learning deeper. So Vista Minds is not tutoring. It's not exam preparation with the goal of moving you from a B to an A in a particular subject. It's not university admissions prep. And it's not also a fixed humanities curriculum. Of course, students who learn to think more clearly often do end up producing better essays. Not just in one subject, but in a whole range of different subjects. And if they really engage with Vista Minds, then they're going to put themselves in a great position to make an application to a top university and perhaps to shine in an interview. But those are byproducts. They are not the main point. The main point is deeper intellectual formation. I want students to spend sustained time engaging with important ideas, developing intellectual discipline and discovering what they really think. Through that process, they will become more thoughtful, more self-aware, and better equipped to deal with a complex world. If that sounds like something that your child could be ready for, the first step is a conversation.